Kanzi templates are a powerful way to get your HMI projects moving fast. However, it's likely you want to use your own car model in combination with all the settings templates creates for you. So, how can you be sure everything is created correctly before and after importing? This in-depth video guide will explain all the key settings. Our example uses Maya, but the same principles apply to whichever 3D software you wish to use. The topics cover things to avoid, along with what to check and adjust, including normals, polycounts, materials, textures, and more. And so, over to my colleague Benedict for the explanations.
Hello, this is Benedict from Rightware, and in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to exchange the car model within the car template for Kanzi Studio. But before we jump into Kanzi Studio, I would like to show you what to watch out for on your model within a 3D tool. You don't have to use Maya like I do. You can also follow the steps with other tools like Blender, Cinema 4D, or 3ds Max, as long as you are able to export an FBX or a GLTF5. First of all, I'm going to drag the car model inside of Maya, and I need to zoom out. So here you can see the car model itself. What you want to watch out for is first check the naming, if everything is being named correctly, as well as everything is being visible. Shown here, so I'm going to unhide everything so everything is visible. I'm also checking the names, so here you can see that the naming is pretty forward, so it needs to be kind of self-explanatory. So imagine you are handing over this model to another person, and this person should know what each mesh is for. And also you want to check how your model has been split. General rule would be to keep your mesh or your node amount to a minimum. You want to split your meshes after materials. For example, you want to split your mesh types to leather parts, or to car paint parts, or to tire parts. Each mesh can have a dedicated material. You can also assign several materials to a single mesh by assigning this material to desired polygons, but I would rather try to avoid this because this could lead into some issues once you are in Kanzi Studio. So Kanzi Studio is aware of reading those kind of material groups, but it can lead to some issues when you have some bindings inside of Kanzi Studio. So I would rather recommend splitting the meshes according to the material types. You also want to split your meshes to, I call this kind of moving groups. What I mean by that is, for example, if you want to open the door on your car, so you can see I have a locator, or like a dummy node, empty node, locator node, however you want to call this. This kind of holds all the child objects that are going to move along with the door. So this is another thing you want to watch out for. So to kind of split your meshes after moving groups. Same goes for the tires. For example, if I want to rotate the wheel, I would rotate this wheel front left node to rotate all the child objects along with it. Also, one thing to watch out for is the location of your pivots, and also the translation values. So if I'm going to select the root node here, can see that this is being placed at the origin of my scene, and every child object should refer to its parent node. So for example, if I select the wheels, so here they are grouped, 4 wheels are grouped into a single group, but since the pivot is as well on the origin, we don't have any translation values. But if I now select the rear right wheel, you can see that we have some translation values that are referring actually to the origin of the scene here. You may watch out for freezing your transform formations, so I can do so. So I can freeze the translate. You can see now the values are zeroed out, but they are still somehow stored even when exporting into an FBX file, and can also be read by Kanzi Studio, but sometimes it could lead into issues, so you would rather avoid this freezing here to have a precise position in Kanzi. Okay, so the next thing you want to watch out for is your topology. Let me close the door real quick. So usually you have this wireframe unshaded. You would like to have a clean quad topology. Do not triangulate your model within your 3D tool. It will automatically be triangulated once you import this into Kanzi Studio. So, and if you want to do some editing inside of the 3D tool of your mesh, a quad mesh is better to edit than a triangulated mesh. Avoid triangulation and triangles in general. So rather aim for quads if possible. Then it would be easy for future editing as well. Also, this model here is been set up to be like a subdivision model. What I mean by that, I can add some smoothing, like see here. That would be more or less one of the cleanest topology. So you can add some subdivisions if you like. If you need more resolution, then you can do so. Also, you want to aim for like even polygon density, like you can see here. Also keeping in mind, if you have like more complex geometries like this mirror, that might need more polygons than this rather flat surface here. Keep an eye on that your polycount is somehow equal. Okay, and maybe as a hint, so usually rims are or do have lots of polygons since it's a round shape. And if you have like this bows and stuff like that, it could add up a lot of geometry. So this is something to watch out to not have your rims huge amount of polygons. Okay, next thing you want to check are your normals. First of all, you need to check if your normal direction is correct. What I mean by that is inside of Maya, going to isolate this car paint part. So within Maya, you can see if the normals are correct, because by default, only one or the front side is being lit. So the back side, as you can see here, is black. You can also check it in a different way by go to the shading, backface culling. This is how it would look like in side of Kanzi with the default render path. So the back faces aren't rendered at all, so they are invisible. This is how you can check this as well. If you want to have more precise checking, what you can also do is, I think it was here in the mesh display. Let me check. Not using this too often. Edit mesh tools. No, it should be here. You can actually display the normal of your faces. This is what I'm currently searching for. Mesh display, surfaces, display, polygons. Okay, here we are. And there should be face centers, face normals. Okay, so below display, polygons, face normals. You can see if I zoom in, I get some vectors displaying the actual normal of my mesh here. So this is for the direction of your polygons, of your normals, sorry. This is how you can check those. So the second thing you want to watch out for are smoothing groups or normal smoothing groups. So you see this model or this part looks quite smooth. It could also be that it looks like, no, cannot harden the normals. Also a good tip here, sometimes those normals are locked, and you can inside of Maya you can unlock these normals, and you already start to see that we get some kind of see each individual face here, so there is no smoothing. So what you can do instead of Maya, you can apply some smoothing angle. So let's try 30 degrees for all of them, and we already start to see that it's softening out, but it's not perfect that in some areas like here. So you can even select several faces and apply smoothing only for those. Yeah, so this is how it looks like. But I will undo because the smoothing has been set up correctly. Okay, let me get back. Okay, here we go. So this is where you want to watch out for. Also, you can even better check your kind of surface normals by assigning a simple foam or blend material to this car. Do just like a foam, and to do like uncheck the use default materials. So again, I just created a foam material and assigned this to the car model to actually see some specular reflections on the car model to judge the normals of the mesh. What you can as well do is I will create environment sphere reflection, and I think I have some texture. Let me check. Yes, here in HDRI. So this is just an environment sphere with a cloudy sky environment, and I will add this here to my environment sphere, and then I will add this to the reflection color. Move this to the side. We don't see any reflections here in Maya because I need to toggle the textured button here. And now you can start to see your reflections and adjust your normals according to that. Here you can also see if you may need to add some subdivisions. So, for example, this hood, you see this little edge here. So this one. And you see some strange reflections here on this edge. So what you can do, you can add a smooth to this, and you can see that the reflections are now have a better quality, let's say, and you can even dial this up. So we check smooth surface. So I added one subdivision, but you can also add another one. But yeah, you have to be really careful about your poly count if you're doing so. So if I go back, by the way, I have here my poly count. So how you would do this in Maya, go to display, heads up display, and check the poly count here. And you can see that I have on this hood now 26,000 polygons. If I set it to 0, it's only like 1,600 polygons. If I do like one division, it's 6,500, and if I do 2, you can see this really adds up. And avoid like moving this slider like crazy. This will crash Maya, so rather put in your values numerically. Okay, yeah, I will undo for now and move on to the next section, which is basically the poly count. I have been saying some words about that. again, have an eye on your poly count, and important are the triangles and not the faces. So you can see this car has around 113 or 114,000 polygons, which is quite common amount for a car like this. But the amount really depends on your viewing angle. So if you have like a very close camera view to your car, and you even want to display or have the camera inside of the car, you would add more polygons to your interior meshes as well as the exterior meshes. But if you have like only a ADAS car that's maybe even only been seen from this angle, you can remove lots of the polygons and have a rather rough mesh. Maybe you just end up with like 10,000 polygons. You can even delete the front-facing polygons, because they will never be seen if you just have a fixed camera from behind here. Okay, again, here, add subdivisions if needed. If you have like a subdivision model here, that can be easily done. Maybe, since I'm on it, I can just quickly fix the camera clipping plan that we don't receive any artifacts here. So a good amount of polygons, again, really depends on your final viewing angle of the car. So you should rather aim between, 10,000 polygons to maybe 400,000 polygons. But it really depends what you are going to display. Okay, so if you want to remove polygons, what you can do is first search for unnecessary or like invisible faces and B surfaces, especially if you have like a CAD model extracted. There might be a lot of geometry that's not needed. I saw like model PCBs with all these little sensors and connectors, which really adds a lot of polygons to your model, which is completely not needed. And there are also some like polygon reducing algorithms. So in Maya, I think there is this reduce option. But at the end, it doesn't give too good results. What you can also do is maybe remove some edge loops that are not needed for your model. Manually delete some of the geometry that's not visible. That can be done. Sometimes you can even model from scratch if that is needed. So this is about the polygon reduction. Another thing you want to watch out for are the UV sets. So it really depends if you have some textures or some tileable normal maps, stuff like that that you want to display on the car. For that, you need to have some proper laid out UV sets. And how the UV set currently of this car looks like, it's like this. So we have several UV islands. In general, you would aim for a UV layout that has rather large islands instead of small, countless UV islands. So usually if you do an automatic mapping, this will lead in very huge amount of little UV islands. So you would, in my experience, there needs to be some manual work to be involved to get some proper UV layouting or unfolding at least. So what you also want to do is avoid like really distorted areas. So I see here inside of Maya, you can show those by going to the view, and here there is this distortion. So you can check this, and red or blue usually means that there is some distortion ongoing. I think blue is red is, I think it's stretched, and blue is squeezed. But yeah, you can see that some of the UVs do have some stretching. I think for this kind of black body, it's okay because we are not showing any texture on this. So this usually is like a unlit black material that it would have here. But here on this part, it could be, maybe you could add some better UV unfolding. But I don't want to touch the UVs right now because we have a texture with a baked lighting information. So this one that matches to the UV layout. So I don't want to touch this right now. Okay, what else? Yeah, so you can as well export or assign several UV sets to a particular mesh. So if I, for example, take this tile here, because I know that there are 2 UV sets stored on this tile. So here you have the UV map, and the UV map normal, and you can see that here I'm jumping, and these 2 UV sets will be exported as a FBX5 format. How to use those UV sets inside of Maya? So I can quickly open up my Hypershade again and create another material. So this is form 2, and I would like to have the same reflection color on this one and assign this to here, and maybe make it a bit darker, so we see that's a different material. But now I would like to show some normal information on this tile, and in the resources there's as well this normal map. I just drag in here, and I'm going to drag this into the bump mapping, and it will create another bump 2D node, and I need to switch this from bump to tangent space. Okay, assign this to the wrong material. Need to assign this to the form 2. And now you see that my normal does not look correct. So this is because it's being assigned to the first UV set. So inside of Maya, I can change it by go to the windows and the relationship editors, UV linking, texture centric. There's a window looking like this, and I would like to have my normal map mapped to the UV map normal channel. Okay, so now the positioning is correct, but still the normals don't look right. This is because I need to change the color space on my normal texture here. So by default, it's been set to sRGB. You would rather set it to linear or to raw. And now you can see that my normals do look correct on the tires. Yeah, so I can also assign this to the other tires if I would like to just check this. So it was the form 2. And here again, I need to change the, oh, not this one, sorry. It was the relationship editors, UV linking, texture centric. I need to change the UV set for this one. So here I change this, make a bit of room here. So again, I just need to select this, select the normal map and assign it to the UV map normal. Okay. So now my normals look correct. Yeah, so this is how you would assign your textures to different UV sets. So in Kanzi Studio, it works differently. I can maybe show you later once we're in Kanzi Studio. But here we are just trying to check if our UVs are correct. And yeah, good. Maybe one thing to say about the layout, what you want to avoid is like huge spaces, empty spaces, because this is kind of wasted space. So you would like your islands to be packed as close as possible. Yeah, and you would also want to aim for like a even textile layout. So what I mean by that is if I'm going to assign another material, maybe just a surface shader for now. Okay. And just, I would like to just display like a checkerboard. So here I'm going to grab a checkerboard, set it to the odd color, select all my meshes, assign to the material. And I would also like to add more repetition. Okay, so by that method I can somehow judge if my spacing is kind of even. Yeah, so my squares should have the same size over the whole model. You can see that this bottom area here has some larger scale, but this is totally okay because as I mentioned, this in the end might be just a black unlit material, and therefore it doesn't need to waste too much UV space. Although those tires here, at least the faces for the treads are a bit denser. This is totally okay. It means that this parts will use larger UV space than the rest. That might be okay since there is more detail here on the tires. So a bit of let's say a bit of uneven spacing is okay, but you don't want to avoid, or maybe if I do like this really scale those up. So like this. So okay, it's using the other normal map. Second, UV sets, UV map. Okay, this one. Okay, like this. So I would rather avoid something like this, where if you have huge UV space on the tires, but not that huge UV space on the rest of the material. Okay, I'm going to undo. Okay, so this is for the UVs. And also one thing you want to avoid is exporting like empty UV sets. This would just generate data, unnecessary data. Okay, next thing that you might change or check the materials, although all the material settings you would apply here, or even if you apply like advanced Arnold shaders, and stuff like that. Those won't be transported or transferred with FBX or GLTF. So usually how the materials are imported into Kanzi Studio is they are transformed or translated to a function shading model. So some color information might be saved or stored, but not more than that. Also, assigned textures will be transferred, so then you don't have to import them manually. So this you can do. But other than that, you can just assign a material to all of these surfaces if you like, because you already split your model of the materials. So then you can easily recognize what kind of material you should assign for particular meshes. But you can also assign material placeholders to the particular meshes, and name this after the material type if you like. So you can do so. Okay, so this is about the materials. Again, try to avoid like colorizing or assigning materials to faces. So like here I can select some faces, for example, maybe those ones, and I can assign a member to this, and it looks like this. And it will also list here that I have the surface shader and the Lambert. On top of that, maybe I'll make it dark. So this you can do, and this will be saved inside of your FBX or GLTF file. But again, this could lead to some issues later in Kanzi Studio. So rather try to avoid such face or material assignments to faces. Okay, so what you also want to avoid are like errors on the mesh. What I mean by that is you would try to avoid n-gons. So n-gons are basically faces with more than 4 sides. For example, if I'm going to delete this here, so this would be now an n-gon because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. It wouldn't. So it will still import, since during the import process, Kanzi Studio will triangulate the mesh and will add some triangles, but it could result into some artifacts because you haven't defined the normals for this particular mesh. And if Kanzi, for example, kind of draws the triangles like this, you might have a kind of bad reflection on this area here, or maybe even do it like this. Yeah, so check your model for n-gons. There are some algorithms that can automatically detect. So here in Maya is the use constraints. So when I go to face mode, I can say all and next and end-sided, and you can see here I don't have anything selected, so that it means I don't have any end-sided polygons within my model here. Okay, what you also want to avoid is like geometry nodes or mesh nodes with zero geometry data or 0 vertices. So I saw some models that had this issue, and this led into some rendering issues inside of Kanzi Studio. Although it's kind of wasted data, so you want to avoid this. I cannot recreate this EMI because, for example, if I have a cube, and if I'm going to, I want to delete all of the faces here, there is one left. And if I go in vertex mode and want to delete all of the vertices, Maya will still keep like 3 vertices to keep a minimum. But I don't know how this happened, but there are actually ways how to do this. Don't know why, sorry. But yeah, try to avoid this kind of zero geometry data. Also, what you want to avoid, if I'm going to create another cube here real quick, is like double faces or vertices or edges. So if I select this and I can duplicate this face like this, you don't see that I have a double face here. If I go to smoothing, you might see this. So you would want to avoid this. So I can delete this, and yeah. And same goes for vertices and for edges. You would rather have like only a single face, because this could lead into some kind of artifacts as well. If you have like 2 faces on top of each other, the renderer does not know which one to render first, and this might cause into some kind of rendering artifacts. What you also want to avoid is like disconnected surfaces and edges. So these are basically the main mesh errors that can occur. So no n-gons, no geometry, zero geometry data, no double faces, vertices and edges, and no non-connected meshes or non-connected surfaces. Okay, so what you can also do instead of this 3D tools, you can do some map or light baking. So like baking your drop shadows, your ambient occlusion map, even your normal map into textures. You can even like, you can even bake high poly models to low poly models. So transfer these kind of maps and transfer this additional information or details to like normal maps. Can do so. You can create like complex animations here instead of Maya, and export those as well with the FBX. And you can even manipulate your vertex colors if you like inside of this 3D tool. Okay, so now coming to the final export. So again, check if everything is correct on your side inside of your model, and once you're sure that you can export, you would select your root node, and in Maya it's like export selection, and here I can just export this to my desktop for now, and most of the time I get along with the Autodesk Media and Entertainment preset, so this is totally fine. But you can as well, apply some custom options if you like. But again, the default works quite fine for me. In terms of file format, so if you're using a Autodesk tool like Maya or 3ds Max, I would highly recommend using FBX. So experience showed that this works quite well. But if you're using Blender or Cinema 4D, I would rather recommend using GLTF file format, since FBX sometimes had some issue. Again, this is a native Autodesk file format, and maybe Cinema or Blender does not export the FBX file format error-free, let's say. Yeah. Okay. Again, I don't want to export this because I exported this already. So we can now jump into Kanzi Studio. And this is the car template main scene which you're seeing right now. But we would like to first jump into the car model scene. So I'm going to double click on the car model, and it will take some time to move over to this Kanzi project. Okay. So, but once we are there, we set up another scene, as you can see here. So this is the screen, and here we recreated basically the same scene we have here in the car template main, to apply quick changes and to see if we are going to adjust the material properties and stuff like that we don't have to jump back and forth those projects. So we can already see this inside of the scene here. Okay, so first thing you want to do is import the FBX file. So go to File, import 3D assets, and here I think I have this as well on the desktop, Contemplate Resources. Here we have the FBX file, and it will show up here in the prefabs. So I'm going to open this up and search for this root node, and just drag and drop it into my scene here. And yeah, it seems like nothing happened, but if I zoom out, you can see that we have the car in place, but wrong scale and wrong orientation. So this is what we are going to fix first. Let me get some room here. So the scale should be set to 10. So this looks to the scale much better. And we also need to rotate the car in Y direction by 180 degrees. And now the positioning of the car is looks decent to me. Also, one trick, if your orbit or your pivot point of your camera orbit is kind of acting weird, what you can do is select the root, click on this dot button here, and then it's kind of centered on the root node of or on the pivot of your root node. Okay, so the positioning is correct. What we now want to do is change the name. So to right where underscore car root. And then we are going to convert this into a prefab. Okay, so now it's been listed here, and we can get rid of this imported car model reference node. And now we want to as well copy and paste the bindings from the sports car to our rightward car. So I'm just dragging and dropping the albedo, environment switch, glass blend, color, same goes for the cube maps. Going to drag over, I'm going to copy the bindings here. So it should have all the custom properties along with the cube maps and the bindings. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is to open up the hierarchy here inside of the prefabs and search for nodes that are named as car paint, because I'm going to exchange the material on this car paint. So you can see we have the surface shader attached to this. So this is what I assigned to inside of Maya. If I'm going to this material, you can see that it's using a vertex font textured material type, and some of the colors might come with. The texture is being imported, but yeah, again, we want to exchange this with the car paint that we created for the sports car here. And again, I'll open up all the different nodes here or groups to actually select all of my car paint meshes. So here, and here should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in total. That is fine. And here under the cluster materials. And again, if you would have assigned additional materials to additional polygons, more clusters would show up here. Well, yeah, I'm going to search for the PBR car paint material, main material. And you can see now my car has turned gray. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is I need to go into the sports car root and search for a body part, or like the car paint part, and there is a binding that we want to use. So this binding is basically to change the albedo on this particular material type. Okay, so I'm going to select the first one and paste the binding here, and I'm going to do this for all of the car paint parts. Okay, paste binding, car paint, paste binding, paste bindings, and I think this one is the last one. Yeah, one thing I forgot though, while I was copying over all the properties, I also need to copy over the state manager. And now you can see that through the state managers, the cube maps I actually assigned to this material. So now we get some reflections. And to not get confused, I can also quick hide the sports car so that we only see this right rear car here. Okay, last thing we want to do is to place a ground shadow, because right now the car looks a bit floating. So what we can do, unfortunately I did not bake out a ground shadow for this car, so we can kind of copy, Control-C, and paste the one from the sports car, and clearly organize this here and drag the shadow on top. And you can see that this is way too big, so we need to change the transformations, render transformations, to the scale of, so I'm going to check the uniform, set it to 1.02 in X and 0.98 in Y, and Z to 1. Rotation is 0, 0 and -90, and then here on the transformations, I think 0.02 and minus 0.05, and for the Z, set it to 0. Okay, so again, I can select my shadow, set center. Now the car looks better integrated into the scene here. Okay, I just assigned the car paint material to the car paint parts of the car. So you can for sure now assign as well other materials to different parts of the car. But since this is a bit of a time-consuming process and will be a bit boring, I will jump back to the main scene and integrate this car into our logic. So you can continue to assign additional materials for the tires, the rims, even for the interior, also the glass parts. So you can assign those if you like. But yeah, I'm going to jump back to my car template main scene. And again, it will take some time to export all the KZBs. And what I'm going to change here is, first of all, I need to change the car string state manager, since it's still pointing to the sports car. So what I'm going to do is go to the library, state managers, and go for search for the sports state here, and I can rename this to right rear car just to be organized. And here for the string, we want to put in the exact name that we named our prefab after. So we can even copy this and paste it in here. And now you can see that now it's been referencing to the to this right rear car. What we would also do is it's been still labeled as sports car. So the last thing what you can do is go to the UI car model prefab here, and the model 2 you want to change the label to something different. So just name it to right rear car. And you can also exchange the texture for this car. Unfortunately, I don't have any texture for the right rear car, but you can easily change the content here. Okay, so this is how you would change your car model. Again, it's really important to have a good source for the car, and and you would then assign all the materials, so all kind of what's car related you would do in your car model scene, and here in the main scene you just want to refer to this prefab. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, and if there are any questions, please reach out to us. Thanks and have a great day. Bye bye.
Thanks to Benedict for those helpful explanations. We hope you now feel fully prepared for the steps to a smooth creation and import of your own car model into Kanzi Templates. If you have any questions, please leave a comment or get in touch through the Kanzi support portal, which is linked in the description below. And don't forget to check out the other videos in the Kanzi Masterclass series.